It's impossible to trust Jonathan Moyo. A few months ago, when Jonathan Moyo was enjoying state power as a government minister, he was pompous, greedy, arrogant and cruel. He defended every evil that the former President Robert Mugabe-led regime committed against long-abused Zimbabweans. Rewinding time to the time he was the minister responsible for information, media and broadcasting services, many will recall how journalist Andrew Meldrum was ejected out of the country because he worked for a foreign media house. Local journalists suffered. Moyo crafted some of the most draconian media laws. He made sure the daily news was silenced. Fast forward to 2018, his boss Mugabe out of power and Moyo a fugitive and wanted man by the new regime. Moyo is now trying to lecture everyone on how bad ZANU-PF and, in particular, the current presidency, are. No, that cannot be. What I want Moyo to know is that the situation has always been very bad for most people. He is one of the architects of the people's suffering. We have never had any free and fair elections before. The government has always been illegitimate. There has never been rule of law. The government has always had military aspects even under Mugabe. His BBC Hard Talk interview was nothing but cheap political talk from a bitter man who was overpowered, disarmed and driven off the feeding trough. Moyo and Patrick Zhuwao, also a former cabinet minister, cannot now turn to be champions of the Zimbabwe democratic struggle. They were corrupt and abusive. They fought rough and lost. No crocodile tears can erase that. Moyo, as a political turncoat, thinks he can hijack the fight of the people for his personal benefit. What all the dangerous and corrupt people like Moyo et al. Must know is that a true democratically elected government will prosecute them more vigorously for the crimes they allegedly committed against the people and corruption. It is an insult to most people for Moyo to say they miss Mugabe, as if he was a good leader. He must stop taking people for granted. He must stop thinking for the masses. The current government has its own inefficiency and shortcomings, but no one is worried about Mugabe. It's impossible to trust Moyo even after his horror escape from the teeth of the military. Moyo and friends must fight their wars alone. We continue with our own wars in our own ways, which he has always despised.